near the rivers Tame and Cherwell, where it was easy for oxen to cross or ford the river, hence Oxford.
A very good morning and welcome to our Rugby World Cup 2015 update brought to you live from England. Today the Absa Red Bus, Absa member of Barclays, is parked outside of the Kazam Stadium, which is home to Oxford United. Now Oxford as a university may be more known for their rugby as well as rowing antics and the Roger Bannister 4-minute mile, but we'll find out about what their football culture is on our update. Later on today, all eyes will be on Hanneke Meyer as he announces his Springbok squad to take on Wales in the quarter-final at Twickenham come Saturday. Now, the last time that the Boks actually lost at the ground was back in 2006, and that was to the English. What was the last result and the last outcome against Wales? Well, it was late November last year, and the Springboks lost that encounter 12-6. How do these two things play on the minds of our players? Our camp correspondent Simon Burke found out.
Depending on who you speak to in the Springbok side, you get such a different story. If you speak to the older, more seasoned veterans, they're all about history and they're all about analysis of the game. If you speak to the younger players like Jesse Creel and Pat Lambie, history counts for nothing. A pitch is just a pitch. They just want to get out there on Saturday and play.
I think it's a rugby field, it's a pitch. We've just got to pitch up and just do the job and do what we need to do. So I don't think the field will play much of a role. Obviously Twickenham it's a bit bigger, so there'll be more people, which I think will be great. It will be a great atmosphere, but I think there won't be much difference.
I think that what happened in the past needs to stay in the past. Yeah, I think that Saturday is the only thing that counts now. Obviously, we'll have a look at what happened back in Cardiff in November last year and try and learn from those experiences. But like Jesse and the coach have said, we'll be wanting to focus on ourselves and things that we do well, and put in a good performance on the weekend.
And so it doesn't matter to the youngsters that here at Penny Hill Park, the pitch conditions of Twickenham have been replicated to a T. They just want Saturday to come. Later today, the squad to face Wales in the quarterfinals will be announced. I'm Simon Burke, bringing you the latest from the Springbok camp.
And you'll be able to keep up to speed with that announcement if you just go on to the SABC Sport website, www.sabcsport.co.za, and stay tuned to SABC News to find out who Hanneke Meyer picks for that all-important quarter-final. Now, injuries were the buzzword around the South African camp not too long ago, but it seems that it's the buzzword around the Irish at the moment. Late yesterday it was confirmed that the inspirational captain, Paul O'Connell, has been ruled out not only of the quarter-final, but ruled out of the rest of the tournament with a torn hamstring. On that note, let's bring you up to speed with some of the latest news coming from the Rugby World Cup. France have a history of upsetting the All Blacks at Rugby World Cups. Les Blues have famously beat New Zealand 43-31 in the 1999 semi-finals and 2018 in the 2007 quarter-finals, and then they came agonizingly close in the 2011 final. Though the French will take inspiration from the way their unfancied predecessors performed, the current crop say they're going to do it their way in Saturday's quarter-final. Scotland will attempt to succeed where England and Wales failed by crossing the Australian try line in their Rugby World Cup quarter-final at Twickenham on Sunday. Even when the Wallabies were reduced to 13 men during the deciding Pool A game, the Welsh were unable to find a way past their resolute defence. Winger Sean Lamont said, "Of course we'll be the underdogs. You can take us for granted all you want, but you'll get bitten." And then hundreds of fans mobbed Japan's returning heroes at Haneda Airport in Tokyo when they arrived home. The star attraction was Yumu Goromaru, whose kicking style, while his distinctive preparation before kicking penalties and conversions, has become a huge hit throughout Japan. Absolutely brilliant. This is where the Absa Red Bus is parked. We're parked outside of the home of Oxford United. We'll be chatting to the football club in a short while. Stay with us.
SABC brings to you Rugby World Cup 2015.
Let's do this.
England as we bring this Rugby World Cup update to you live. The ABSA Red Bus, ABSA, a member of Barclays, is parked outside of the Oxford United home. That's the Kazam Stadium. It's very good to be in your company. Now, this is our second morning in Oxford, and this is as we make our way down to London. Yesterday, we introduced you to Blenheim Palace, which is still the home of the 12th Duke of Marlborough and his family with over 300 years of history. It's been the backdrop for a number of films, including having a part in the Harry Potter films. It's also going to be in the new 007 movie, Spectre. But it has a very special accolade, and that is as being the birthplace of Sir Winston Churchill. At Blenheim, I took two very important decisions: to be born and to marry. I am content with the decision I took on both occasions. Sir Winston Churchill, as quoted by Virginia Cowles. Churchill was born in the closest bedroom to the entrance as you enter the palace on the 30th of November 1874. It was at his grandfather's home that Churchill is said to have drawn inspiration in planning how he would defeat Germany's Adolf Hitler, but it's also the grounds where he proposed to his wife Clementine. Churchill was the UK's Prime Minister from 1940 to 1945, and again from 1951 to 1955. He was an officer in the British Army, a historian, a writer, and an artist, all the elements that are celebrated at Blenheim Palace. He is the only British Prime Minister to have received the Nobel Prize in Literature, and was also the first person to be made an honorary citizen of the United States. Churchill requested to be buried close to where he was born, and his final resting place at St Martin's Church in Blaydon looks over the grounds to Blenheim Palace, now a famous tourist attraction.
Oh my God. Who the perfect time?
All right, so well, brilliant history and a brilliant place to visit, just 15 minutes outside of Oxford. This town is known for the university, and on that note, the university operates the largest university press, and it also has the largest academic library in the UK.
Bridget, aren't you?
The library's fine architecture has made it a favourite location for filmmakers. It can be seen in the TV series and film Brideshead Revisited, the films Another Country, The Madness of King George, and the Harry Potter films, in which the Divinity School doubles as the Hogwarts Hospital Wing, and Duke Humphrey's Library as the Hogwarts Library.
All right, so well, it seems as if just as we were about to come to us, the lights went out. They must be on a timer, and they don't quite know that we have switched off the daylight savings just yet. They weren't expecting that it would go dark so quickly. Before I chat to my next guest, who is the communications manager of Oxford United, let's take a look at Oxford University as an educational capital.
Oxford is all about education. Beautiful university. You can see the building just behind you there. And then also some really impressive attractions. We've got one of the oldest universities, one of the oldest museums in the world, the Ashmolean Museum, which is not far from here. The Oxford Castle, another beautiful, where Oxford began, which is to the other side of the city centre. As I say, the universities and beautiful Natural History Museum, the Pitt Rivers Museum, history and heritage, basically. There are, I believe, 36 different colleges. Yeah. The good thing about Oxford is it's nice and flat, so yeah, it's really good for cycling. The quickest way to get around. Good luck to South Africa in the World Cup.
And Oxford University is, of course, the oldest university in the English-speaking world, and they're known for some very specific sporting milestones and sporting events. You'll know the great university boat race, the rugby match that is known worldwide, and then, of course, Roger Bannister's 4-minute mile, which he set at the Oxford track. The Oxford Athletics track is now named after Roger Bannister himself. But is it known for football? The communications manager of Oxford United joins us now. Thank you very much for welcoming our ABSA Red Bus to just outside of the Kazam Stadium. Good to have you here on Morning Live.
You're welcome. It's always dark and cold in England. Welcome to England.
Lovely, so thank you so much. Okay, so football. Tell us a little bit of history about Oxford United.
So the club was formed in 1892. We play in the 4th tier of English football. There are 92 professional clubs. We're in the 4th tier with ambitions of getting into the 3rd tier, which is League One in England.
And tell us a little bit about the stadium. Our taxi driver told us that Oxford United is known as having a 3-sided stadium.
Yeah, we are notorious for it. The ground itself holds 12,500 people, which is great for a 4th tier stadium. At the moment we average 6,500, so there's no need for the 4th side. Aesthetically you want it, and traditionally you usually have a 4th side, don't you? But we've played on 3 or 4 grounds this season that have only 3 sides. There's a lot of redevelopment going on in English football grounds. If we get successful, if we get promoted, then hopefully another side to the ground comes in.
Just how popular is the football club here?
Massively. Biggest club in England. Forget Man United, forget Chelsea, Arsenal. It's all about Oxford United. We're really well supported. We sell out the away end. We're playing in London on Saturday. The away end's already sold out. We've got a fantastic, loyal fan base. 6,500 people every Saturday.
Tell us a little bit about this magnificent ox. So we see it on your logo, and we're also standing next to this beautiful cast iron statue.
So the ox... the whole city of Oxford is where the ox forded the river, where the monks started the university. They probably played football in their part-time. It's about 800 years ago, something like that. So the ox has a historic part of it. The ox that you see on our club badge and around is part of the Greek legend. It's the Minotaur's head. And our badge was designed by Desmond Morris, the famous anthropologist, who took it, thought it meant something proud.
But I also understand that part of that history has something to play with the luck of your ground, or maybe the superstition around the ground.
Well, yeah, just behind you is a place called the Priory, which obviously there were monks there. And there was some talk about a curse when we disturbed the bones when we moved here. It's not true, because they're 200 yards away. We haven't disturbed anything. But hopefully that's lifted and the curse is gone and we're going on to great things.
Andre Arendse used to play for you guys, obviously a former Bafana international. Tell us what your relations are like with the other South African players.
Well, Andre came here this turn of the century. He played maybe a dozen games, not much more than that. The goalkeeping coach Wayne Brown played in South Africa for a while, so we cast the net far and wide. Who knows, there could be another South African player for Oxford United very soon.
Lovely stuff. That's Chris Williams. He is the communications manager of Oxford United. Thank you very much for chatting to us here on Morning Live.
Thank you very much. Welcome to England.
Thank you very much. We've had a wonderful welcome over the last 4.5 weeks travelling around England. And we'll be travelling again. Our Absa Red bus is making its way down to London for those all-important quarterfinals, which begin with the South African-Welsh clash come Saturday. It's all focused now on the rugby and the knockout phases of the Rugby World Cup 2015. I look forward to joining you again tomorrow morning when we'll be in London. Until then, have a brilliant day ahead. Bye-bye.
Created near the rivers Tame and Cherwell.
Excellent. Thank you so very, very much, Vaylen. And also just apologies for the blackouts there. It was just, I suppose it was just there to make Vaylen feel at home. What can I tell you, you know? She can't have lights all the time. She has to have a little bit of load shedding there in Oxford. No, not really. But anyway, just apologies for that. I think there was a problem with the lighting, but it all seemed to come right. And we managed to get that piece to you. So, all right, let me just tell you.